So come to a comfortable seat now. And just a little shift side to side to move your sitting bones back and broad. And then add a little gentle press into your legs. Find that action of rooting or grounding here, feeling the connection of legs, your feet, your sitting bones, whatever's contacting the ground. And then lift and lengthen up through your sides. Shoulder blades are on your back. As you close your eyes, take a couple big breaths here. Start to give yourself that permission to tune in, to be present. Starting to be aware of your body in this space. And then start to utilize your breath to help you sit a little taller as you inhale. To engage the muscles around the legs and the glutes a little as you exhale, which helps you to root, to feel the ground, feel whatever you're sitting on. Inhale for more length. Exhale to engage a little into the ground. One more breath this way. Inhale longer. Exhale, root. And then connect hands together at heart center. Draw them to your third eye and back to heart center. And bow toward your heart, honoring yourself for being here this morning. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down, lifting up with your gaze. And we're going to give ourselves some hugs for a few moments. So reach your arms out long to the side, plug in with your shoulder blades, lengthen through the back of your neck. And now as you exhale, wrap one arm over the other, walk your fingertips back toward your shoulder blades. Inhale, open it up, and then exhale, switch. And again, walk fingertips back. Inhale, open it up, and exhale, switch. We're going to do this a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then release your arms down, roll back with your shoulders, a little movement side to side with your head as you roll back with your shoulders. And now hands behind to clasp, press palms together, bent elbows, and then hug your elbows back toward each other. And even more so, think of reaching from tops of shoulders through your triceps and elbows toward the wall behind you. Take a big inhale and lift your chest. Exhale, release your hands. Take hands in front to clasp. Pull forward with your arms. Round back through your upper back. Your chin tucks down. And then add a little bit of movement here through sides and shoulders. Then inhale, sit tall, and now switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself, and move your sitting bones. And now gratitude arms, elbows hug in by your sides, and then rotate your arms so that your thumbs are moving toward the wall behind you. Expanding and opening through the front of your chest here. Feel the shoulder blades engage. Take right ear to right shoulder, and then left ear to left shoulder. And as you take this a few times to each side, think of reaching through the opposite shoulder away from the direction of your head. One more time on each side. Then as you come back up to center now, we're going to bring fingertips to connect in front of us. Elbows are bent up to shoulder height. Press fingertips together. Take a big exhale and round back through your upper back. Your chin tucks in. And then add a little bit of movement here again, moving side to side through shoulders. You might include that turn of your head here if that feels good. Then back up to center, and we'll do one more neck stretch. So with this one, reach across with your right hand around to the back of your neck on the left side. And think of the bottom of your neck where it attaches to your shoulders. There's that junction of your thoracic spine and your neck. So see if you can find maybe that part of your spine that sticks out. Hold on to it, and you can even use your left hand to help you get there. Now pull forward and press back at the same time, so a little resistance. Then your head leans over to the hand side, over to the left, and then move your head a little forward and back here. You might find little micro nods and shakes. Using your hand as a massage tool. And then come on back up to center and roll shoulders back. And now left hand around to the right side, reaching to that same spot. Take a hold and then pull forward and press back, resist. And then head over to the right side. And again, find that movement here so your hand becomes your massage tool. And it can be some nods with that tilt, or it can be a little shake, little micro movements in different positions. Really get to explore and notice what feels good, what's helpful. Okay, and then releasing your hands one more time, hands behind to clasp. And as you press palms together, lift up and open through your shoulders, lift your chest. As you lift your chest, you're thinking of lifting collarbones up. Back of your neck stays long. Take a full, big, deep breath. And then release your hands and walk your hands forward, coming into as deep a forward fold as you would like. You can always set forearms here on a prop. Take a couple full breaths, and again, add that movement through your sides, through your shoulders. This time you can even move that action all the way down into the hips. And then rising up to your hands and knees. Set yourself up in your tabletop, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And as you find that place for yourself, root down through palms and fingertips, rotate elbow pits forward and push, expanding into the upper back. Now tuck toes under and lift hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full big deep breath and get lots of push and reach from the lats out through your hands. Bend your knees and tilt your sitting bones further up. And then for a couple of moments, slowly pedal out, bending one knee at a time. Pause just long enough to sense how the back of one leg feels, and then the back of the other leg. And now inhale, come forward into your plank pose. You can always use knees here for your plank. This is a little bit of core work, so rotate elbow pits forward and push. Again, expanding into the upper back. Lift your head to the back plane of your body. And now as you press through toes, maybe through your knees, think of lifting through the upper inner thighs just a little bit. Lift through the belly, lift through the ribs. Take one more full breath, even as you extend your ribs and your collarbones more forward. Good, now knees down, hips to heels. Take a child's pose. Turn your palms up, giving your wrists a break. You can let your head rest down here if you would like, or just find a comfortable place for your neck. Take a deep breath. Then rising back to hands and knees, rotate elbow pits forward and push. Toes tuck, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full deep breath. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Feet are inner hip distance or wider. Wider sometimes helps the low back and hips to feel a little more comfortable. So I'm going to take mine just slightly wider this morning. Lift and spread your toes here and then root them down. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Hands up above your knees. Keep knees a little bent. You're sending sitting bones up and back. Extend your heart forward. Exhale, fold over your legs. Keep that bend to your knees. Inhale and lengthen part way, long spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthen, pause, find that extension, lifting sitting bones, extending through your front ribs and collarbones. And then walk your way up your legs to rise all the way up to stand. And from this place, set your feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root. And now, hands come behind your back to clasp, press palms together. And as you lift shoulders up and back, start to hug elbows back as they stay bent. Begin to lift through your ribs, lift through your collarbones. Just as we did when we were sitting, think of reaching from tops of shoulders back through triceps and elbows. Then release your hands, turn your palms forward. Take a big inhale and reach through the floor, up through the crown. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen partway. Exhale and fold. Planting fingertips, you're stepping right foot back into your lunge, and you can always have something underneath your hands here if you'd like for a prop. Center with your hips, extend your heart forward, take a full big deep breath. Let your ribs expand even more. And now bring hands up to your hips to rise. Center with your hips again, drawing left hip crease back in space, and then come to gratitude. Elbows hug in, you're rotating with your arms, lifting your chest, engage the core. Pull in with the low belly and the ribs. Take a deep breath. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat, working to the higher part of your blocks or whatever you're using for props. It can be a chair or a stool here too. Work your front leg towards straight. Coming into this hamstring stretch, push your big toe mound down on your left foot and wrap your left hip back. Extend forward with your heart. Take a really big deep breath. Inhale, bend into your front knee. And now this time we're turning and planting our back heel so that our foot is parallel to the back of our mat. Left elbow to your knee, right hand to your hip as you turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Side angle pose variation here. Shoulder blades are on your back. Maybe stretch your top arm either straight up or over your ear. Big deep breath. Think of space for your ears here. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. And we're stepping back into a plank pose. And again, you can always be on your knees here with your knees back behind your hips. But we're gonna come down onto our elbows. This is our low plank pose. So as we come down onto our elbows, hard to tell without a mirror or somebody watching, but we're trying to come to a long, straight body and not have our hips lifted or sinking. So if knees down is the most helpful, then please go there. Push with elbows, expand into the upper back, lift your head up to the back plane of your body, and then extend your front more. Think of collarbones and ribs moving forward. Take one more big breath. And then you can work your way all the way back, hips to heels. Take a child's pose. Settle your head. Take a full deep inhale, long full exhale, and check in with whatever's showing up in your body. And then remind yourself that child's pose is where you can come to anytime you need a rest, or really any other resting pose that feels better to you. Inhale, rise to hands and knees. Set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Exhale, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. Take a deep breath. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Before we take the second side of this, let's give a good bend to our knees. And if a forward fold is better for you right now with your elbows on your thighs, feel free to take that. If it's accessible to you and it would feel good, then you can clasp your hands behind the back side of your neck. Elbows reaching toward the ground. Little traction here for your neck. You can add a little bit of movement side to side if you would like, or you can stay more stationary. And then releasing fingertips back down to the ground or hands to blocks. We're stepping left foot back into our lunge. Pause here, center with your hips, and grow longer through your spine. Big breath to allow your ribs to expand even more. And then bring your hands up to your hips first to rise up. And then think of your right hip crease and send it back in space so your left hip is moving a little more forward. And then lift your chest. Gratitude again here, elbows hug in, find that rotation of your upper arm bones and lift your chest, lift your ribs, long through the back of the neck. We often have a tendency to drop the head back here, but keep length all the way through the base of the skull. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat, and we're coming to whatever you have for props. So it could be blocks, it could be a chair or a stool. Work your front leg towards straight. And the reason why we stay upright here is instead of folding over the leg, folding over tends to round, especially through the low back sometimes, and we need that not to round. Big toe mountain pushes down, wrap the left hip, or the right hip back rather. As you wrap it back, then send both sitting bones up and extend further through your heart. Big breath. Good, now bend into your front knee. Plant your back foot so your foot's parallel to the back of your mat. Take right elbow to your knee, left hand to your hip as you turn to the left side. Side angle pose. Bend into your front knee. See if you can find that stacked place for your shin. Turning your knee toward the pinky toe edge. Then turning your belly and your heart to the left. As you do so, press with your elbow and then maybe reach up. Maybe reach over your ear. Whichever feels the best in your body. Deep breath. On your exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat and step all the way back onto your hands and knees for a moment. And we're going to take one more core exercise before we start to settle a little bit onto our mats. So we've been working on our plank poses here. You have your choice of coming back down to the elbows if that's easier on shoulders, or you can stay up on your hands. You can have knees down or up, either one. But if you have them down, walk them back behind your hips. Extend your front ribs forward, collarbones forward, and then everything touching the ground pushes to lift your back body a little. From this place, if you're low or high, elbows or hands, we're gonna lift the right leg up, trying to keep the back body stationary as we do that. Take a big deep breath. Move your ribs and your collarbones more forward, tone the low belly and the ribs. Then setting the right knee back down, lift the left leg up. Again, hips stay lifted, ribs, shoulders stay expanded. Take a full big deep breath. Head lifts to the back plane of your body. Send your ribs more forward. Re-engage the low belly. Knee down or foot down, and then knees down if they're not already, hips to heels. Take a child's pose. And then gently push yourself all the way back up to your seat. And from your seat, let's take left foot underneath the right leg to come back toward your hip. Right foot either on the inside or the outside of your left knee. You can have your hips up on something here if you have unevenness with your sitting bones on the ground, okay? Hold your knee. Right knee is held with both hands. Move it in towards your chest and even think of it moving towards your shoulder on the opposite side. And now tilt your pelvis so your belly's moving more towards your legs. Lift your ribs, lift your chest. And then begin to turn from your ribs toward the right side. Then if it feels better to you to wrap your elbow across your knee, you're welcome to. If it feels good to bring your right fingertips to the ground behind your hip, you can. Lengthen, lift up tall. Take a full big exhale, draw the low ribs in to help you twist a little bit more. Maybe you switch the elbow to the other side of your leg. Full breath. Broad through tops of shoulders. Lengthen the back of your neck. Inhale, come back into center. And switch the cross. Right leg underneath, heel towards your hip. Left leg, either foot inside or outside of your right knee. Hands clasp around your knee and hug your knee in. And then tilt your pelvis, belly towards your leg. Lift your ribs and begin to twist from your ribs. And then start to find the variation of twist that feels the best to you. As you find that place for yourself, use another inhale to lengthen. Exhale to draw ribs in for that twist. Inhale, come back into center and uncross the legs. And now we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. And be sure you have props handy for yourself. We're going to come down to lay all the way down on our backs with our feet on the ground. Elbows come to connect with the ground. And gently move your shoulder blades a little bit more onto your back. From this place, push feet into the ground. Think of heels and toes pushing down. Keep that and tilt your pelvis so your sitting bones are moving down. Starts to create a little lift through your low back. Now engage the low belly and the ribs. And this is the tricky part, trying to keep that engagement of the low belly and ribs even as you lift your hips. Take a full breath, reaching out through your knees, hugging them in toward each other, not to touch, but as if you're hugging onto a block or maybe a ball of some sort. Take a big deep breath, inch your shoulder blades a little more underneath. And then exhale, lower your hips all the way back down. Knees draw in and rock a couple times side to side. And from this place, set footprints on the ground. Walk your feet wide. And then drop both knees over to the left side. And then take a look at your right thigh and make sure that your right thigh is straight ahead from your hip and not angled into the left. Engage your feet, give them a flex. And from here, you have two options. You can set the left foot over the right thigh if you want, or you can use the right hand to help rotate your right hip more to the left. I use my elbow on the ground to help a little propping action here happen, but keep that action of the feet to help knees and ankles be stable. Big deep breath. And now back into center, and both knees draw over to the right side. And again, check the angle of your left thigh. We often think we know where it is in space. We sometimes don't have the knowledge of where it is in space until we look. So engage the feet, and then your choice. You can use the right foot over the thigh to help that length happen, or the left hand to help your left hip rotate toward the right side. Take a big deep breath wherever that is for you. And now back into center. And as you settle yourself here into your most comfortable resting pose, you're going to find a pose that will be there for you when we move into Shavasana. So you can prop yourself with a bolster or a pillow underneath your legs. You can set a blanket over you. You can do whatever variation of propping helps you to feel really comfortable right now. Find your Shavasana and find some full breaths. You bring awareness back to your breath. We'll stay right where we are for this meditation, unless you have a strong desire to sit up, and then you're welcome to. But otherwise, stay in your reclined position. Begin to focus your breath on moving entirely and thoroughly through your body. With each inhale, notice what's expanding. With each exhale, notice what's contracting. Inhale and notice if there's anything more expanding. Exhale and notice if there's anything more contracting. A couple more breaths this way, noticing that pulsation of breath. And then release that work with the breath. Simply let your breath be natural. And bring your awareness to your belly. You can set a hand on your belly if you would like. You can set two hands there, whatever's comfortable. And as you take your next few breaths, begin to imagine a soft yellow light right at your core. As you imagine this soft yellow light, imagine each inhale sends it a little deeper into your body. And each exhale helps it to settle there. Inhales help it to move deeper, and exhales help it to settle. This yellow light is your own inner strength. So as you imagine this yellow light filling you and being present for you, start to imagine something you need to do today. Whether it's a mundane task or whether it's something important. Keep this yellow light in you as you imagine yourself doing this task with strength, with confidence, with courage. Now bring your awareness back to your body in this place. You're welcome to bring hands to connect at your heart, or keep your hands right where they are. But take a full breath, filling yourself up with strength. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful, strong and courageous rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.